I'm Jimmy Lewis with Dirt Bike Test, and today we're riding the 2021 Yamaha Tenere 700. This is an all-new bike here in the United States. It's been released other places in the world, but our bike is a little bit different, and that's why they waited to have us ride this one. It has a little bit of different ECU. It's made to run on our fuel, give it a little bit of a different character for our riding style. And the concept here is Yamaha wants to have a more simple, a more pure adventure bike. This one is designed to definitely be used off-road. So they've kind of taken away some of the electronic features that have become common on a lot of other adventure bikes. Something as simple as the ABS, it's on or off, which is really good. It just makes it simple. The suspension, it's not electronically controlled, but it does have all the adjustments. So they're getting just the level of features that, you know, an adventure guy, especially one that's venturing off-road, will be looking for, but still thinking about comfort. And another thing they're really pushing on is durability, something that they've become known for. And now we are testing it. Now what we're doing here isn't our normal dirt bike test stuff. It's a little stickier on the pavement, but with any adventure bike, we definitely try to use it for everything it's designed for. And a lot of people do spend a fair amount of time on the pavement on these, for good reason. They're great street bikes. And on the road, it's actually a really comfortable ride. There's not much vibration. There's maybe a little bit of buzz in the levers, but no place else, even with the rubbers moved out of the foot pegs. And you really have to get it revving up to make the buzz even happen. So Yamaha's design philosophy on this bike was to keep it simple. So they have a Super Tenere, that's a big 1200, and they decided to make this one a lot more off-road focused, a little bit more like a dirt bike per se, and they actually said they looked heavily at their YZ line, which is just pure competition for some influences, and then on the other side of things, they wanted to have the comfort and the reliability and all the stuff you come to expect from an adventure bike. So they blended those two things. So it's not super feature laden, which is the way the marketing department likes to talk about it. Or maybe not. They're just saying it's pure. So on to the off-road performance, and quick impression is it's actually pretty good. I haven't even done any adjustments to the suspension. It's all still standard. We did lower the tire pressure down a bit because the street pressure never works off-road. And it doesn't surprise me because Yamaha's been really good with suspension, you know, literally since the 90s. And these components, believe it or not, are kind of from the 90s as far as the technology goes. But for adventure riding, you don't really need anything too crazy for real adventure riding. Now, the way I'm riding here, across these roads, across these bumps, the bike's having no problem being comfortable. Maybe a little bit stiff on the initial, but I'm almost betting that's because the suspension is set up a little bit too soft right now, and it's what we call packing. So at the next stop, I'm going to add a little bit of clicks and see if that can make it actually feel a little bit more supple. But the bottoming resistance is really good. The bike definitely doesn't feel wallowy in the suspension at all. And so for being, you know, compliant, you know, having that comfort and not feeling wallowy, that's a really good sign. So as for the suspension, I went ahead and stiffened it up, and believe it or not, that actually made it act a little bit softer. And the good part about that is it uses more of the stroke, uses it a little more effectively, and
And I even went away from Yamaha's suspension settings a little bit, and I felt like the rebound was a little bit too slow. And on these suspension components, having that slow rebound doesn't let them kind of extend back out, even though the rebound does affect the damping quite a bit. So I'd rather have them be a little bit looser so they can extend back out and I can use that whole stroke, as opposed to being just stiff all the time, because then maybe on the second and third bump, you're not getting that full extension. I should go pass our ride leader, right? That'd be bad. Anyways, the handling is really pretty zippy. You know, for a 450-pound adventure bike, and it's still got a pretty much full tank of gas. It's pretty good. There's a lot of the steering through the foot pegs. The handlebars have a light feel, yet there's some stability built in. And I think what really makes this package work is the motor. And it's not high strung, it's really torquey. It has like twin cylinder chug off the bottom where you feel the strokes, the power strokes. Then it just goes into a really blurry blend of power. And you know, how much do you want? It doesn't take much RPM. You know, right now we're riding it like, from around 2,000 to 4,000 most of the time, with a little burst up into, you know, 5 and 6, because at that point everything just starts spinning. So you get this little chug. It's almost like it has traction control, and it does not have traction control. It's just the motor doing its job, trying to find as much traction, and there's Bambi. Anyways, yeah, the motor's really just does its job finding traction, and in all honesty, the stock tires, when everything's going okay, aren't too bad. You just don't want to have, you know, get it up on the side where it's a little bit more of a closed block. But even with that tire that doesn't have that big of openings in it, it's doing okay. So the instrument is actually really simple. Here's ABS on and off. You just hold the button and it says off-road, like that. That means your ABS is shut off. Of note is anytime you turn the key off or use this switch, it rearms itself. But if you stall the bike, then it stays in off-road mode. And you can scroll through the features, which are basically down here: the trip 2, odometer, air temperature, engine temperature. Then it tells you average miles per gallon, and then when you're riding, it'll show that as instant miles per gallon. And up here, these keys do the same thing. So you can do it from here or there. So we've been riding the Tenere 700 all day, and you're going, so what do you really think? Well, I think they've done a great job. I mean, this thing's just a tick under 10 grand. By that I mean 9999, and it really performs well. I mean, if I'm going to complain about anything on this, it's going to be the foot pegs. They just need to be a little bit bigger and a little bit more grippy. Right now they're just a platform for that rubber pad they have in there. But the engine is sweet. I mean, I'm really impressed with the engine. For how simple it is in the engine management, there's not any modes. It just works really good. Makes power when it needs to, has good traction. It's exciting and peppy. The suspension, it does everything it could be asked. I think it fits right in the middle where it's supposed to. Not too stiff, not too soft. Easily adjustable. The adjustments make a big difference. The handling is, well, They say it's YZ inspired, and I'll give them that. You know, it's good. The bike feels planted. If anything, maybe just a little bit harsh on some of the choppy stuff, but I'm sure with a little more time on it, we could play with the suspension settings. The brakes are really good. I love that you can turn the ABS off. Yep, Yamaha's going to sell a ton of these.